G'day and welcome to the 2014 Premiership Heroes Night. I'm joined by a fellow Simorian, Ben Clifton. He's taken Jake Anderson's spot, who couldn't make it tonight. Benny, how you going?
Yeah, I'm pretty well. Sugar's out, so we thought it would be fitting if another Seymourian took over his spot. So we're here at Premiership Heroes Night. We've had Peter German, our current coach, talk, and Colin Kinnear, previous coach, to have a good talk to the group, and it's been really good so far.
Obviously, a few of the past players, like your Brad Nimmos, your Trevor Prices, your Phil Cleary's, big names. I mean, obviously, you've been here for, 7 years now. You'll know a lot about those blokes, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we've actually had a lot of history done on the club, and it's good to see the beard, Phil Cleary, and the current beard, Daniel Venditti, talking together, so it's been good to see.
What are we looking forward to tonight? We're gonna get around a few of the blokes, maybe a few of their girlfriends. Who are you looking forward to talking to?
Looking forward to see a bit of Geordie Rogers. It's been pretty quiet this year, so good to see a lot of him. Ted Linden's always good for a bit of humour, as we've seen on Coburg TV. Exactly right. And now the music started, maybe a bit of Tom Groves on the dance floor. Yeah,
well, Tom Groves, he's a favourite. It's nights like these when blokes come out of the shell, so join us and we'll go and have a word with a few of them. It's a bit nerve-wracking now sitting behind the mic. Obviously, it's his job to be interviewing blokes, but he's on the other end of it. Obviously, great with this footy club, and it's a pleasure to be interviewing you. What's your thoughts on the night, and obviously being such a pivotal player of this footy club, give us your intake.
Well, it's just lovely to catch people who've been significant along the journey, and it reminds you that we're all connected. And the lesson for you and the young players is that's our history, and make, as I said at the pre-season launch, make your own history. But remember that we've got a great history, you know. It's not just Premiership Cups, but great character. Didn't you think, like today, exactly. Tonight, the conversation is really enriching.
Even a few of the blokes were sitting with each other, and we're just looking across the room, and you see that special bond between the players, and it's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Well, it really is, and, you know, if you want to just go back to some people tonight, Mick Irwin, you know, 60-odd games of AFL football, Premiership in 1970, playing coach, Premiership with Paran, he coaches Collingwood, and he was a remarkable bloke for the time, super fit, tough as nails, and he's a great bloke, Mick Irwin, and that's the kind of person that Coburg produced. And then, you know, we went through to 79, Colin Kinnear, who went on to coach AFL, and then with a back-to-back with myself. So, great history, but remember that often there are gaps. You know, there can be a 10-year gap between one moment and another. So when you're in the gap, you've got to say to yourself, well, it's happened before. We're on the march. You're a young player. You might be 27 and you're playing a premiership.
Yeah, you're right. And it's fine. In saying that, over the last 12 years, we've had that gap with Richmond, but over the next 3 or 4 years, we can look to improve that.
Well, look, we're starting again. And I'd say, Danny, for people like yourself, keep in mind that what Colin Kinnear talked about was a side made up of young blokes from the local area, and the side I coached 88-89 was lots of young blokes, you know, the Tarantos and Kakuas and Ken Ingram and Brad Nimmo and Brian Allison. On it goes.
This goes on.
It does, all good young players, so don't ever think you're not good enough. You know, we need to recruit. We've got a great coach, Peter German, there's no doubt about that. The side's playing really competitive football, so we've got to get off field right. We've got to raise money. Peter German's right. You have to raise the money so you can recruit successfully. But, gee, if you just took the atmosphere tonight, you'd say we're in a good place.
Exactly right. And it's a privilege to interview you. Thank you very much.
Nice to be interviewed by you.
I appreciate it. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. One of the Premiership greats of the 1979 Grand Final for Coburg Lions, Terry Dohnt. Obviously, he's wearing his Guernsey. How you going, Terry?
I'm very good. An excellent night tonight. Congratulations for everyone involved. It's fantastic.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's a privilege to have you too. Now, it's 1979. Give us your intake on your history of Coburg and what you're about.
Oh, right. Well, I came down from the country, went to university, and I had a friend, Robert Herbert, who also played in the 79 Grand Final, and he dragged me along to Coburg, walked in, played 3 or 4 games in the seconds. I was actually roving with Maury Gale and stayed with Coburg for another 11 years.
So, obviously, it's a very, very long time. Have you got any good memories of the 1979? Obviously, that goal. Could you talk us through it?
Oh, the David Fisher goal. Well, Look, I was in the centre at that stage, and in fact, funnily enough, further down the back pocket. And I was saying to somebody, I have no idea how we're going to kick another goal. We were out on our feet. Geelong West were really all over us, and I had no idea how we're going to kick a goal. David Fisher, as we now know, picks up the ball, probably defensive side of the centre, looks up, sees nobody, literally kicks the ball to himself, runs another 20-30 yards, picks the ball up, and the Geelong West defender pushes him as he kicks a goal. We basically win the grand final.
Terrific moment, and everyone still talks about it, obviously. Now, to the young blokes, and especially a bloke like myself who's going on to the next 3 or 4 years of the future of the footy club, what do you have to say to them?
Well, I mean, some of the stories you've heard tonight is that the club has had a lot of success in the past, but there's been a lot of times where it's been in real trouble. At the moment, Coburg not having a great time. But if the one lesson has been out of tonight is there are good times ahead. I stayed there for 11 years and probably through their 11 best years. This club will be great again. So you just got to say, I've got to look what happened to the club in the past. I stick with the club and things will happen. And I reckon tonight is a catalyst. Tonight will be a turning point in the club because I think a lot of people will now remember the good times the club gave it and will now want to put back. And so if you can stick around for 3 to 4, 5 years, I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic time.
I appreciate it. And if you think blokes have lost passion for the footy club, you have a look at the jumper and he's worn it tonight. It just sums it up. Thank you very much.
No worries. I didn't pay for the jumper either, but don't tell anybody.
No worries. After 6 months, we're finally getting the brains around the footy club, and he's making his debut on the Coburg TV. I mean, how does it feel?
Terrific, Danny. Finally, after 6 months in a row,
got his gig.
AFL experience, 7 years in the system, finally get the opportunity to be on Coburg TV. Probably the highlight of my night.
Now, on your AFL experience, can you tell the viewers at home about your background, where you come from, what you've done?
Well, the last 5 years I spent at Melbourne Footy Club in player welfare and development role in footy operations and obviously working closely with the Casey Scorpions, and then we obviously had an alignment with the St Kilda Footy Club prior to that, so spent a couple of years in St Kilda as well. And then prior to that, was at the Eastern Rangers for 5 years in the TAC Cup. So spent a lot of time in development, worked full time in footy for 12 years, and really enjoying the fruits of Coburg Footy Club. But tonight's just been fantastic. To have 250 people here tonight celebrating some of the rich history of the footy club, it has made me realise how fortunate I am to be in this position to lead this footy club.
And you've certainly done a great job. Now, Peter German gets the job, I think it was October time, not sure, November, maybe early November. He gives you a phone call, and what's your thoughts on it?
Mate, it's a long story cut short, but basically I'd left Melbourne in November, went on holidays. Germo rang me every second day, was what I was doing, what I was up to, where I was going, and finally committed with the Burgers after I met with Skippy Breen, probably real late December, and obviously met you guys the very last training session before summer, before the Christmas break, and then obviously started first day in January. So very much loving working with the playing group, the management, and really looking forward to building on the challenge that we've created at the moment.
And on that challenge, I mean, what does the future hold for the next 3 to 5 years for the Coburg Footy Club? I mean, what do you see?
Well, it's very exciting because, obviously the club was in jeopardy of their licence. They only had 1 year to run on their licence, like all VFL clubs have had. We've been obviously reassured from AFL Victoria that our licence will be re-extended for the next 3 years. So that's exciting for you as a player, that you can be around for 3 years and playing the best competition outside the AFL. So Germa and I have got a vision and a goal, and it was one thing that I mentioned tonight to the past players was it's not about the current day players, it's about everyone. So we need everyone to obviously contribute to take this club forward, and that's my message. It's not going to be me that's obviously going to save the club, but it's the past players, everyone that loves this footy club. It's about how we work together to obviously create a dynasty.
I won't keep you too long, but obviously at home you can see from that 2 or 3 minutes what the type of bloke he is, and he's done a terrific job for the footy club, and we can't thank you enough, mate.
TV, mate, all the AFL stuff, DTV, Cat TV, you and Sugar, mate. What happened to Sugar tonight?
He's got his old man's 50th.
Mate, the Burgers TV, mate, it's killing it. All my mates keep bringing me up. They want your number, because if footy doesn't work out, you got a job in media.
I appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much.
Right here, Daddy.
Mate, thanks a lot.
When you're ready. G'day, I've got the latest legend for Coburg here, Trevor Price. it's an honour to have you here and trophy in hand. But were you expecting anything coming into tonight?
No, I didn't. I did not expect it, Fanningham.
Oh, being a fellow backline player, I was very happy to see a backman get inducted. But no, it was very great honour, and I heard you talking about ran the jail. We're unfortunate enough we haven't had to do it. So can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, very hard. Run early and hitchhike later. Yeah, you got to run early. Pre-season, you do that, and we ran the jail plenty of times, and
we're pretty lucky.
Hitchhiking. One day we had a laugh with the boys, and we hitchhiked one back, and we had a laugh. Yeah, never did it again after that.
I reckon a couple of blokes at our team, maybe Sugar might do that, catch a hitchhike, maybe even a cab getting around it. But no, very good to see you getting here, and one of your favourite memories of the club, maybe one of your favourite players you played with.
I think, there was so many. I think Lurch, Alan Noonan was a great mate of mine. He come across from Essendon. He's not with us now.
Passed away recently.
Yeah, well, Alan Noonan, everybody will know who he was. We nicknamed him Lurch. Long Tack, the ruckman at Coburg, he was a great guy. He was a young bloke, but great. You go back to Ivan Marsh in 1970, he was the ruckman. He ran like a brick wall. He was the ruckman, but at 6'2" ruckman, but ran through brick walls. Great player, come from Footscray. Alan Mannix, he was another bloke from there. Great guy, great player. Another one, Jimmy O'Sullivan. He won a JJ and all that. Great player. He was great. You know Jimmy, did you?
Yeah, I've met him a couple of times.
Yeah, fantastic. Jimmy was a great player too. Yeah. It's a wonder he's not here tonight, but he must be away somewhere.
Beautiful. Thanks.
Now, hold it. Now, don't forget the old people. You never forget them, because you've got, as they mentioned tonight, Clemmy and Patchy Wilkes and those guys. They just were there all the time. And even to this day, I think you still got Margaret, one of the lady girls.
Yeah,
she's still there.
She's there.
And what a stalwart she was. She's fantastic. And they're still there, and that's what the club's all about. Unity. Keep it together and make it happen together. And that's where success comes from. Fact.
100%.
100%.
Thanks very much, Pricey. Thanks for your time. And
he wanted me to put a tie on, but
congratulations for tonight, and all the best. Hopefully see you next week.
All the best to you blokes, and I will get there.
Thanks very much.